You know, placing all this dirt is actually taking a lot longer than I thought it would. You know, I thought I had quite fast fingers, but I guess I'm just quite average. But let me just get this finished really quickly. No, I'm actually not going to finish it because this area is not going to be relevant for at least one more episode, luckily, and not a huge time limit on this. Oh, I see some pillagers over there. Just going to leave them in their hole over there. But anyways, welcome back to Create. I went ahead and built this wall and terrain that I was talking about last episode just now because I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it this episode when I could just rather spend time on what I actually want to be doing this episode. So just like quick walkthrough of this terrain. It's like pretty simple, like kind of reminded me of what I did last or on my survival world with the browns, but I think I did a better job here, like making the highlights and just like focusing more on just texturing with shadows and stuff like that. So I think this one turned out a lot better. And I just did like a little bit of, you know, this. I've been kind of doing it everywhere, though not this time, not for the same reason. Just thought this kind of looked better than having like just like the green edge along here, which is mostly why I decided to do like this. And now this wall, this is not like very brutalist like how I've wanting to be building, and that's because I didn't build this, or me as a builder in the solo survival world, of course I built this, but me as the entrepreneur making a bunch of milkshakes, which still hasn't happened by the way, it's gonna happen soon, didn't build this. So this is like I guess it would be like a little old monument that was left behind by someone else, and I'll just come over here and taking over the land. I guess let's just say that's what's happening. And yeah, this is kind of remind me of like, I don't know, like India, I guess, like the architecture, like if you're helping the GeoGuessr and then you see this, like your immediate thought would be India. Or that's at least what I would think immediately. Okay, it is the next day and we are gonna like halfway scratch what I said in that last clip. As it's been a day, I've been able to finish up placing out the dirt. It actually didn't take me that long, I just speedrun through it. But I've also gone ahead and built a little platform here where I'm planning on building something today. Now, in this episode, I am just very tired of, or not just this episode, in every single episode that I've done, I've just been like very tired of not just like having iron and like the minerals that I need. So today I'm planning on just automating iron, copper, zinc, and gold. And now that is all gonna come from one thing. And like, which block flipping gives you all those nuggets for free? Let's see if I have it, so I can show it off. Tough. This will make me rich. For some sort of reason, when you crush tough, you just get all of the ores plus flint. I don't really care about flint. And then there's electrum nugget, which I'm not going to use, but you get iron nuggets, zinc nuggets, copper nuggets, and gold nuggets. For some sort of reason, I do not know why the recipe is like that. That's just very overpowered, but we're obviously going to use it when there's something in the game that just makes it so overpowered. And now, toughness up, like I'm not going to go out mining for tough so that I can crush it, because that'll just take a lot of time and just wasting my time. So we are going to be crafting tough. Now, luckily there is a create recipe for it, which takes andesite, cobblestone. That's easy enough. The only issue is definitely going to be andesite and lava, but andesite is crafted with cobblestone, which we're going to automate, and then also diorite, which is quartz, and cobblestone and quartz you get salt sand by haunting sand, which you can get from gravel, which you get from crushing cobblestone. So everything just goes back to cobblestone. Yeah, so I've just gone ahead and built a little platform here to make it easier to build on, to just show off the stuff and, you know, just have a flat space to work on. Now there's this cool thing added by the Create diesel generators called a bulk fermenter, which is used for like making like, I think it was like ethanol or something like that. But you can also, in the fermenter, you can also create lava out of cobblestone, which is what we're going to be doing for this farm. So by just adding some cobblestone into this fermenter, and if I just add some heat, we should be getting some lava. As we can see the timer going down here, I think, when this reaches the bottom, we should be getting some lava. Yep, and there we go. Now we got 50 millibucks of lava. One piece of cobblestone is 50 millibucks of lava. But I mean, this is very slow. Like, this is probably like 30 seconds of looking. So what's neat about these fermenters is that you can actually stack them just like how you would with the fuel tanks. Now, I think this gives you more space inside of the actual fermenter while adding more blaze burners. I am pretty broke on blaze burners right now. As I only have 2, but I think that should speed up the process. So Right now, we'll just keep it at this. I mean, it's going at an alright pace. Now it actually increases the amount that it processes. I just saw that. So that was like 10 pieces or something like that. I wasn't really paying attention on 9. How many was that? Yeah, that was 9 pieces, right? So yeah, it's processing 9 pieces of cobblestone like every single time. This is a lot faster now with just 2 blaze burners. So this is how we're going to be getting our lava. Already have 1,000 millibucks in here. So that is our first issue solved with the Tuff recipe of getting lava. But I mean, this fermenter won't be fueled forever, and I don't want to come here and fuel it with cobblestone myself. So we're gonna need a cobblestone farm. Now we can't go much further with this factory unless we have power, which is why I'm just gonna be making a steam engine over here. I've kind of just like scrapped the idea of making like a big power plant, as it's just kind of like annoying, like bringing power like from one place to like another place like a long distance. So I just thought it'd be easier if I just do like this. And can these place the way I want them to? There we go. So I can run off like that. And now the plan is that we use the lava we get from here to fuel this, or to give this heat so that it'll keep going, but you still need water, and I wonder if I can just get away with having a pump on top of here and waterlogging it, so that this will just spin on its own, put a cogwheel right here, and then maybe... how do I get power here? Now I am actually not entirely sure if this will work. Oh, we got water flooding everywhere, like you can just block. Oh, I just hear everything breaking. Do I have any more cogwheels on me? No, I don't. So let me just block this off for now. Can I block it up? There we go. Now, okay, if I give it some crank, will water go into the tank? Question, no. Answer is, not question. That's a no. Just not crank it hard enough. Okay, it seems like it's a no, but how about... well, what's a smart way to do this? Okay, so I found a solution. It's not the most elegant in the world, but it does the job. I just put some copycat panels to just have something. But that will get the steam engine spinning, so that's great. Now I just need to connect this up together so that it'll keep feeding itself power, and I think I can just go ahead and boom, 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 and then you just give it a little kickstart. Okay. Oh, where did my wrench go? There it is. Nope. Hey, I'm trying to give you a kickstart here, man. Come on. Okay, now you work, right? Why do you stop? Didn't I pump it at a fast and freight? That could be why. Do I have any big cogwheels? No, I don't. Okay, with one big cogwheel, I hope this works. Let's see here. I don't know if that's faster. Okay, does it have power? Yeah, it's going. No stops. Oh my god, that's so annoying. Okay, didn't really change anything at all, and suddenly it's working. I don't know what I did. I mean, I did turn that on, but that doesn't really display any difference in heat. So I don't know what happened, but it's working now, so that's great. But now this again is another problem that, yeah, we don't really have a way of getting the lava from here into here, which is where, like, in Vanilla Create 2, like, you can't feed like buckets of lava directly into blaze burners or like using pipes, which is where this handy dandy straw comes in from Dreams and Desires, I think, where, yeah, just gives it that little hat, and then you can just give it buckets or just pipes. So yes, now we got the little hat, and oh my god, it stopped again. Okay, it's still going. Oh, and there it stops. Perfect. So then if we just run the fluid pipes from here, and then we go just... hold on. We just put it... where's the best spot to put it? Probably right here. Just for now, just so I can just drag it straight down. Yeah, then get some cogwheels, and I'm out. Okay, one cogwheel later, and we got it back up and running, and we got it filling it with lava. Look at this, man. This is great. So, yeah, now we just need some more blaze burners under here, but I don't have those right now, but 16,000 stress units should be enough for what I'm doing right now, at least. Then we also need to get the lava under here. Now, I think it's just as easy as just siphoning some from there. No, wait, that didn't connect. I needed to I don't have the sucking straw or whatever. Oh wait, the straw. Yeah, it's just called a straw, not a sucking straw. I don't have that, so I can't connect it up, but now I got power at least. It's a little bit later, not too much. Just add a little tank in between, just so it makes sure like I could get some lava if I wanted to, and then I just Giving a straw to that guy so you can get the lava. Yeah, we got a little elixir reserve of lava, everything's working great. But now, we do need cobblestone to fuel this so that we can get more lava. And the way I'm going to be doing this is with this little guy called the mechanical generator from Create Cobblestone. Now, by the name, you probably realize that this is a cobblestone generator, or I think it's any kind of stone generator, but I'm only going to be using it for cobblestone. So I think if I give it a piece of cobblestone and then I power it, it should be generating cobblestone. Okay, so I found out what was making it so that I wasn't getting any cobblestone. It was just because that I didn't have something like grabbing it out of the cobblestone generator. And now I'll just put a chute here. Like at first I had a hopper. Like that after like it was kind of bottlenecking like the speed that I was getting cobblestone because you know it goes like 1 by 1. So now I'm instead getting 16 every single time. And I mean that's filled up the barrel really quickly. You can also see all the cobblestone laying on the ground there that I have to throw away. But and then it's like I think this is supposed to generate like cobblestone based on how much stress units is in it. But it's like no matter which speed like these cogs are spinning, it's still generating the same amount. So I mean I'm not complaining on that. Yeah, I'm not complaining about that. Getting max amount of cobblestone for the least amount of stress units. But now the issue is obviously how am I going to get the cobblestone from here over to here? And now I mean the easy answer is just to use conveyor belts, but I don't really want to use it because I mean it's boring, everyone's seen them before, and it's like doesn't really require anything. So instead I want to use the frog ports and the chain conveyors because it's like a system that I haven't really used a lot before and like understand how it works. So, like I've used conveyor belts and all that a lot before, but frog ports and stuff like that I haven't used a lot. Okay, so I've gone ahead and set up a little chain conveyor here just because everyone knows how that's done. I've already done it like a couple times over there too. But now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this, I guess. This is like the area where like I have the least experience doing it. I don't know if that should happen. Wait, let me just, if I move this to the other side, wait, put you on 14, I think. Okay. So now we got a package in there. And then I want this frog to be named, what is this? This is cobblestone. Cobblestone out. And if we name him that, oh wait, no, I need to give him a area to send. Okay, if I put it right there, can he reach here? Yes, he can. Perfect. Okay, I want you to only send packages, and then your name is cobblestone out. That should work. Let's not do big letters just to keep it more. Okay, only send packages. Yeah, because now he flipping picked it up again, which isn't good. And now since this package doesn't have anywhere to go, it'll just keep spinning on this thing until I give it somewhere to go. So I think if I want it to go over here. If I add a hopper into this with a barrel and a packager, and then I need to get on top here. So I can put a little frog on here, and then add a frog. The connection point to right there. And then I call you ferment or lava fermenter. And then that goes into the package right there. Okay, so here I have some of these factory gauges, which I've just linked up to just this little stock link here. I don't know if that really does anything to the system at all, or if that's just fine. And I think if I put a factory gauge right there and make it so that it looks for cobblestone, and then it looks for 1 stack, so that like it always has 1 stack. And then I put it as, if I use my clipboard and just right click on the frogs, I'll actually get that as an address here. So now I think it'll always request 1 stack of cobblestone, and whenever it runs out of 1 stack of cobblestone, hopefully it'll run out of 1 stack of cobblestone soon, no it won't. It will send cobblestone, a stack of cobblestone from here, all the way around and to this frog here. Because I've just taken it out, and now, yes, there we go. But why is it spinning on top of here? Is it the wrong thing? If I do a lava fermenter, does that change something? No. I want you to receive, yes. Why are you not taking it though? Why is it just spinning there? Okay, so it doesn't have a stack right now. It's going down, and then if they requested 3 cobblestones, so now it's fulfilled, so now it has 1 stack of cobblestone here, so now it won't request anymore. And now that it's empty, it sent out a request, and then we should be getting cobblestone being sent out in this lava fermenter. Frogport picking it up. I just had it set to the wrong thing, that it was supposed to send to the lava fermenter, not to the our cobblestone, because that just doesn't make sense. Because I can't pick anything up. But now we have this automated that cobblestone is always inside of here, creating lava, and then And the cobblestone being automated, I think I have a lot. Yeah, look, this whole thing is filled up with cobblestone. And then this is also just filled up. So now with having 2 of the 3 things that we need for this Tuff recipe automated, we can turn our attention towards andesite, which is going to be the hardest one to get. Now cobblestone, we already have that. All we need is diorite, which takes cobblestone and nether quartz. And now nether quartz you get from washing soul sand, which you get from haunting regular sand, which you get from cobblestone. And what that essentially means is that we need to get a crushing wheel in here, and we need to get a haunter in here, and a washer so that we can get those things. Okay, so I've gone ahead and added in all the machines here that I think I'm gonna need to be able to make Tuff. I've added in fans. You'll know how this one works. It's the exact same one as I have in my rig shop, but this one is just automated with with these frogs, and with just names that just wash out, and then yeah, all that haunts, and then it's haunting blast, it's lava, and then smoke, it's the campfire. I don't actually think I'm gonna need the campfire for anything, but I just added it in case there's anything else I want to do with it. And then we also have crushing wheels, which is just the same amount, same names. And then we also have a compactor for the nuggets later, which I just called press. Now, I've also added a board here where I can just put these factory gauges to make sure that these are like they're crafting the recipes that I want. So I think if we get a factory gauge down, and then we get and just go ahead and drag gravel into this slot here and press OK, and then we say we add a new connection between these, and then we say 64 cobble is 64 gravel, and send that to crushing in, and then we set that we want. So let's say there's 1 stack, just a test for now. We should be getting, yep, here comes a package going to the crushing wheels. And now, to be able to send this back to storage where we want it, first we're going to place on a sign where it says storage in. Now doing this gives the package this address of storage in, which yeah, I also set up a little storage here where I have storage in, like storage if I want to take anything out, and then storage out if I want to send something from the storage to one of these things. So this storage in is stuff that goes in. So by naming this storage in, now this package will go to storage in. And then I think if we just give it some redstone power, it should send the package, let's see here, right to our storage in. And now that's fulfilled. We have 1 out of 1 stacks. Now let's get a couple more. Let's just try 8 and see how that goes. Should be seeing some packages being sent. Okay, maybe only 1 package. Okay, we got multiple. And then we get some packages going into my storage, and that's just gonna slowly fill up. Okay, and then a little while later, we have 8 stacks of gravel. So yeah, I mean, this is working great. Just for keeping it tidy, I'm just gonna move the gauge 1 closer just so I got some space to work with. Now the next thing that we're gonna need is sand. So if we just do the exact same thing and just drag that right into here, do the same, okay, and then we say that 64 gravel is 64 sand, and we send this to crushing in. And then we'll just move this gauge 1 closer, and then yep, that's good. And then we say that we want 8 stacks of this. Now what should happen is we're gonna send gravel from our storage into the crushing wheel, but since we're now missing a little bit of gravel, we should be seeing cobblestone being sent to be crushed, so that we can fill up on gravel again. And now we're seeing this, we're seeing some sand coming in there for a little split second, and now it's going over and we're slowly filling up on sand. Got 1 stack right now, and we should also be filling up on gravel as we're filling up on sand too. Now I also want to do this for all my other frog ports just to connect the whole system up. So if we go in the back here and write storage in on all of these, now they are going to send only to my storage. And then if we also give them some power from the front here, now they'll be ready. And then our last frog port right here, give that some power and give the storage in. And now all of these are powered and are sending to storage in. Now we might need to make a bigger storage. And I also used the vertical vault, which is added by Vibrant Vaults, the Create Vibrant Vaults. Which I just thought this looked a little bit cooler, and it just saves us a little bit of space. Like, I don't have a lot of horizontal space, like this is just the edge here, and I'm gonna keep it within like this line here. So yeah, just I got a lot of vertical height but not a lot of horizontal line. Now we're almost filled up on sand and gravel. It's a little bit more now and we should be filled up. Okay, and now both of these have been filled up. Our next step in the process is going to be soul sand, which if we just do the exact same thing we've done and send that to haunt in instead, because we're now turning sand into soul sand, which we need to haunt it and not crush it. And then we say let's just say we want 4 stacks of soul sand for now. We should be seeing sand being sent out and being sent to our haunter, yes. And now this is gonna slowly drop in and slowly turn into soul sand. I think I put it at the exact speed that we need it to be. And then it should be sent back to our storage, yes. And we have a stack of soul sand. So this, I mean, it's just working perfectly, everything. Now we can get multiple things from all of these 3 things. Namely, from gravel we can get iron nuggets and flint, which we don't really care about. From sand we can turn that into a red sand, which means we can get gold nuggets, but we don't really need to process any of these by washing them, because we're going to be doing all that when we get quartz. The only thing we really care about is the soul sand and processing that into quartz. So how we want to do that is by getting quartz. Oops, misspell that. Get quartz in here, and then we say that connect those up, and then what is the probability of getting quartz is a 12% chance for getting 4, which would mean that 60 soul sand will equate to 20 nether quartz. But now, since it's a 12% chance, it's not guaranteed that it's always going to be 20 nether quartz. So if we just turn it up to a stack of soul sand just to make it a lot easier, and then we say, let's say we want 15 nether quartz from a stack of soul sand. And now what we can do, we send it to wash, but what we can do is that if we don't get this within a time limit, it'll stop asking for it so that our system doesn't get clogged up with these requests. So if we do a 2-minute request, or if it stops requesting after 2 minutes, we should be good to avoid clogging up our system. And then if we just ask for, say, a stack of quartz, it'll be sent to the washer. Sadly, it's taking a long way because the paint conveyor is only going one way. Can't really reach across. But and then now we should be also getting a byproduct from the we're getting gold nuggets as a byproduct, which we can just keep for later use. See now, let's see how much quartz we've gotten. Okay, we've almost gotten a stack already. There we go. We've got a stack of quartz. So now it'll stop requesting that, and we can fill back up on our main supply. Now with quartz in our hands, we can finally create this recipe, which we need to create andesite, which means we need diorite first, which means we need to combine nether quartz and cobblestone. Now there's a couple ways of doing this. We can either compact it, which is completely out of the way that we've made the recipe. We can sand it, which we're not going to do because then we need polished diorite. So the way we're going to have to do this is by automated shape crafting, which means we need the mechanical crafters. Okay, so I think I've gotten something that works. Now how I've done it is that I've gotten the frog ports as usual, and then I've gotten a repackager going into a barrel that goes into a packager that then sends the unpackaged packages into this mechanical crafter. And then I've just made it so that I block off these, and then as long as it doesn't lose its shape, as long as I don't go run out of quartz or cobblestone, this recipe should be kept here for an infinite amount of time. And then the output of this crafter goes into the barrel, which is then sent out. And now the way I'm going to be powering this is every time that the crafter gets a redstone tick, or whatever you call it, it will craft. So I got these pulse timers. I'm just going to set low so that it just keeps on giving a redstone tick, and then it will continue crafting. And I think that's going to be really quick as long as I don't lose the shape. So let's say I request 4 stacks of diorite, and it should start sending. And then if I put it on 5, for example, hopefully I won't run out, but it seems like I am running out, and there I ran out. Yeah, and now it won't work anymore. You know what I'm saying? So if you run out, it won't work anymore, because then it'll just do like that, and that's no good. You know, all these frogs just look really majestic looking off into the distance. Even this triage of frogs here, oof, that is so much aura. But anyways, I think I've finally figured out how to make it so that I don't run out of the shape, or I don't lose the shape inside of here. And the way I've done that is by first making it so that when I request diorite, only quartz will be sent. But now you do need quartz and cobblestone, so the way I fix that is that this guy is in charge of getting quartz, while this guy is in charge of always keeping 2 stacks of cobblestone in stock. So that if I'm ever below 2 stacks of cobblestone, this guy will request it, and I'll get more. And now that is because as long as I have one of the two, either cobblestone or quartz, in here, in this diagonal shape, it won't lose its shape. So no matter if I run out another quartz, it will still keep this diagonal shape. Now that's what I first thought would happen, but it ended up just being the fact that it would just fill up the slabs of cobblestone, which is why I've set up this little thing here, where I have a threshold switch registering if there's more than 8 items. If there's more than 8 pieces of quartz inside of this crafter, it'll turn off its signal and this pulse timer will start ticking every single 16 ticks, so that every single 16 ticks we craft diorite. But then if we're below 4 items, it will send out a redstone pulse like it is doing now, which stops the pulse timer so that the crafting recipe never stops being this, so that I can't run out of quartz. Now, I mean, this is working great. I haven't run into any problems with it. And then I've also just set up a 10-second timer on here so that the frog will only send its items every 10 seconds, so that I don't get like a bunch of packages with like 2 or 4 pieces of diorite in it, but I'll get like bigger packages one by one instead. And now this is all working like fine and dandy, but the only thing that I ran into is that it generates 1 less stack than I ask it to. So if I ask it to make 9 stacks, it'll only make 8 stacks. And then vice versa. If I ask it to make 8 stacks, it'll make 7 stacks, and then I don't know why that is. Yeah, and that is our like diorite sorted. I don't know, maybe this will like fix itself as it goes. It's kind of annoying that it's not giving me, if I just put it back down to 8 stacks, now yeah, it's done. Okay, but so hopefully now that'll be fixed. But yeah, I've also added just iron nuggets here, so that I'll always have 4 stacks of iron nuggets. Just because, yeah, I got a lot of gravel, so I can just afford to crush some of that up into iron nuggets, because iron is something that I'm going to need a lot of anyways, and I don't think only crushing the tuff will give me enough iron for everything, or maybe it will. I don't know how fast this factory is going to be, but yeah, I got that too. I mean, I am getting a lot of byproducts from this, namely just a lot of flint and clay. And I think just what I'm going to do for that is just set up a filter with a chute, so that like I just filter out the flint and clay. Or it might also only be the flint, because like the clay isn't that big of a problem. Like 200 clay, like 1000 flint, that'll fill up my inventory really quickly. So I think just getting rid of all the flint is like, there isn't really a use for flint. And if I need it, then I'll just stop the filter for a little bit and I'll build up how much flint that I need. But anyways, our next thing that we're going to craft is going to be andesite. Now, how we do this is with diorite that we just made, and then also cobblestone. So if we add some connections between here, then we add a new connection here, and then we see how much do you get. Okay, 1 piece of cobble and 1 piece of diorite equals 2 andesite. So if we do 1 piece of cobble and 1 piece of diorite, it's 2 cobble. Now, how is the crafting recipe? Now you can either do you can either make a machine like I've done here with the crafter here. That is one option. Or we can or we can do a shapeless crafting where we just plop diorite and cobblestone into a mixer with a basin, which will then also give us a 2 andesite. There's also this compacting one, which we don't really care about. So I think we're going to do this one, as it is just the cheapest one, and I don't really have that much iron to be spending on what am I trying to say? I don't really have that much iron to spend on the frogs. And then also I don't have that much cardboard. Like, it is extremely expensive to make cardboard, or expensive. I just haven't chopped down enough trees. Because then it's like I've chopped down a lot of trees, but I've just gotten rid of the saplings because I forgot that I needed saplings to make the pulp and then the cardboard, but it's coming back to bite me in the butt. So I mean, I'm just gonna do a similar setup to what I did here, but instead of having a press, we're gonna have a mixer. So yeah, let me get back to you once that is finished. Okay, so I've gone ahead and just copied the design that I did over here for the press and then just switched it out with a mixer. Now I've built two here because I've done one that is just for the inside and then one that's just like a general mixer if I want to create, for example, inside alloy or something like that. Now when I first ran this, it kind of clogged up because of like the cobblestone being full in the basin and then being out of diorite, which means that I couldn't make any more andesite. So I hope that was just like a one-time thing and that it won't happen again. So that's why we're gonna run it now and just crank out like say 2 stacks of andesite. Now it's gonna start, okay, so it's 3 stacks. But now it's gonna start crafting andesite again. And now I hope that it's not gonna be clogged up and that it will actually work as intended. And that it'll actually work as intended. And then I've also just put this on a 10-second timer like I did with this, so it doesn't send like 2 pieces of andesite at a time, so it doesn't like send out a bunch of packages at the same time. Now everything seems to be working as it should, though I'm just gonna let it run until it's filled up to figure out if it actually is. Okay, so the andesite has been filled up. And everything ran as it should. It didn't clog this time, but I'm gonna keep my eye out just in future to make sure that nothing gets clogged up, because that would be really annoying. But I don't really have any idea of how I could do this any differently either. Like, to prevent it from clogging up, you would need to have the 2 different inputs come from like 2 different spots. So I'd have to send diorite from one angle and then cobblestone from another angle, which would just be kind of annoying with like the limited amount of space I have. Like, the back wall, I'm planning on having it go right here. So it's like I am using up all the space that I can. Of course, I can just expand out and build more, but I want to keep it like as compact as possible. So hopefully that's gonna work. Now, I've decided to do like this because it's just like, for the final recipe of Tuff, I do need lava. And it's like, there is not a lot of space over here. It's like, obviously I could have done a mixer over here that always has lava in it, but I just decided against it and just have like one mixer that is always just making Tuff. Okay, so I've gotten the last machine in, which is gonna be the Tuff machine, and it's the exact same design as over there. And I'll just, yeah, plop down the pulse timer here too, just to make sure it sends every 10 seconds and not just a bunch of Tuff at once. Now this was a little crammed and like, just trying to fit everything as best as I can, and like, don't look at my wiring or my cogging, like, for any of this, to be honest. Like, nothing of this is like really good looking like this. Why is there a bunch of gravel here? What the flip? Wait, why is gravel exploded everywhere? I have no clue. I don't know why there's gravel there, but like, my wiring everywhere just absolutely sucked, but we're gonna hide this anyway later. But yeah, we got the last machine in, which is gonna be creating the Tuff, which means our last thing that we need to do is add a factory gauge for the Tuff. Now, let's see, Tuff. Oh, no, I want to drag it in. Okay, now we got Tuff here, and then what we need to make Tuff is we need andesite and we need cobblestone. So, and if we look at the recipe and see here, one andesite and one cobblestone equals 1 Tuff. So now if we do 64 andesite and 64 cobble equals 64 Tuff, and then we send this to where is Tuff mix in, and then we say I want 8 stacks of Tuff, we should begin seeing andesite and cobblestone coming over here and popping into the mixer, and yep, and then mixing into Tuff. Oh my god, we finally got Tuff. Like, all of this machinery is just to make Tuff. Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, no, we actually need everything here to make Tuff. Isn't that just insane? And now is where the floodgates really open. Because now, if we remember our recipe here, well, now we can get all of these nuggets from just crushing it. So then, if we just... Okay, let's find our factory gauges and set up. First thing I want to do is just set up one for gold nuggets. So that's kind of what we do. Gold nuggets. Oh, drag it in. First thing I want to do is set up for gold nuggets. Add a connection to you. And now, let's see here. What is the chance of getting gold nuggets from soul sand? 2% chance. Okay, so I'm just gonna make it simple and say that 64 soul sand will only give me 1 gold nugget, and then we're gonna put a promise on this because it's a probability chance. And then we want to send this to Wash. And now, let's see. Let's ask for 8 stacks of gold nuggets. And now the final two, no wait, still got 3 ores. But let's see here. Okay, let's put in, I'm beginning to run out of space here. Yeah, let's say we put in one right here. This is going to be for our copper. Now we can actually put the copper one right under here because it's the only one that we actually need to automate, because we're going to be getting all of the other ones anyways, right? So if we drag the copper nugget in here, and then we add a connection, and then we look at the probability of getting the copper nuggets, which is 10%, which means that from 64 tough, you get 6.4 copper nuggets. But then we're just going to be humble and say we get about 4 nuggets per. And then we need to send this to crushing in. No, did I not put crushing in? Crushing in. And then we're also going to put a promise on this. And then now, if we say we want 8 stacks of copper nuggets, it should slowly be filling up and giving me 8 stacks of copper nuggets. But while that's also happening, we're also going to be getting the zinc nuggets, the zinc nugget, and the electrum nugget. Now the electrum nugget I don't really care about. It's really only the copper, the zinc, the iron, and the gold that I care about. Now what should be happening is that everything is going to be slowly just filling up and giving me copper, zinc. I want 8 stacks of that too. And then I also want 8 stacks, no, I don't really care. We'll just put that on, yeah, just 8 stacks, because I think it's also 8 stacks. And if you look in here, we're slowly building up our collection of nuggets, but it's gonna be really slow because we don't like have an already established tough supply. So it might have been smarter to establish our tough supply before we started with all these nuggets. So that might actually be what we do. Then we just remove that connection so that we can establish our tough first before we start creating a bunch of nuggets. Now let me just get my copper back here. See here? Put the copper back in, and then we can just set up that 4 nuggets, and then yeah, we'll do that later. Send this to crush in. And then that's set up so I can just add a connection when this is filled up. And let me get back to you once this is full. Alright, so it's been like 2.5 hours maybe. It's a little longer than I want it to be, but I just kind of like got in the flow state of editing, so that's how long it's been now. Everything hasn't been filled up, but we are a pretty long way through, like getting 6 stacks, 5, 6, and like we've gotten a lot of nuggets. Like I was at 2 and now I'm at 9. We got like 7 stacks of gold nuggets, but yeah, everything is working as it should. Though these guys are actually getting clogged more often than not, so I'm definitely gonna need to rethink a design where it doesn't get clogged, because that has really slowed down the progress of creating andesite and tough, because I need to micromanage these all the time. But I mean, the only thing really missing now from this episode is getting a build outside of this little inside, I guess. So let's get right to that. Let's go. Okay, the Tuff factory is finished after that quick little time lapse. It's green for once. I don't really use green blocks, and I didn't really want to use it for this build either because, like, I didn't want it to match with the grass, but it's a lot darker than the grass, so it worked out fine. Now, I usually don't like building factories, and that was the case with this one too. Like, you can just notice, like, how little details there are on it and all that, because, like, I just didn't really enjoy building this at all. Like, the favorite part of my build, and, like, the main reason why I built the factory was because I wanted to make these smokestacks, which I think turned out really cool. Oh, why is there a hole right here? Oh my days, stupid Enderman. Oh my god, these Endermen, bro. But anyways, I think the smokestacks, which was like the reason why I wanted to build a factory in the first place, turned out really great. And like the smoke too, the cousin smoke, like ever since I saw someone do that, I just wanted to do it myself, so that's great. And now it's just pretty simple on the outside, and then if we go inside, nothing's really changed. And it seems like I forgot to put lights in here too, but I did actually end up changing the mixer setup where I made it so that I figured out how to do is that they go into two different inputs. So what I just did was I put a belt that drops andesite into one hopper and then drops cobblestone into the other one, and it just goes across the top here. And then I also put a brass funnel here instead of an andesite one, so it drops a stack at a time, so it's not like one by one, you know? That'll just be a lot slower. And yeah, I also ended up doing that over here with the Tuff. So I mean, I haven't run into anything now. It hasn't been running for that long. So hopefully we're not going to get any more clogging. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. Really hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you later.